Is the camera rolling? Is it okay if I scare them now? Okay. Boo! Don't worry guys, I'm not actually a witch, it's just me, Taylor, and I'm excited to welcome you all back to another edition of Canada International Student Magazine. So, I know we're all still recovering from our Thanksgiving food comas, but I personally pride myself on always being one step ahead of the game. With that in mind, let's take a look at one of my favorite holidays, Halloween. For those of you who have never been trick-or-treating before, trick-or-treating is a tradition where children go door to door dressed up in a costume receiving candy. They knock on the door, yell, "Trick-or-treat!" And then, hopefully, whoever answered the door will give them some candy and send the children back out on their candy hunt. This tradition of trick-or-treating is predominantly practiced in North America, the Celtic countries, some parts of Mexico, and Australia. Although trick-or-treating-like practices have been around since the Middle Ages, it wasn't until the 1930s that trick-or-treating truly became a widespread phenomenon. Now, with the basics of trick-or-treating defined, let's jump into the heart of this video, Canadian candies. Everywhere celebrates Halloween a little bit differently, but here in Canada, we have a few exclusive candies that you can't really find anywhere else. One of these candies is the Maynards Swedish Berry Gummy Candy, a Halloween classic here in Canada. The gummies are slightly chewier than most other gummies, with a soft texture, making them arguably the ideal gummy. Furthermore, if you could pinpoint the taste of berry and infuse it directly into a gummy, you would be given the iconic Swedish berry. Overall, Maynards really knew what they were doing when it came to the Swedish berries, so I would rate them a solid 7 out of 10 on the Taylor candy scale. Next up, we have a fan favorite, Smarties. Not to be confused with Smarties in the United States, which are tiny, chalky, disc-like candies that we know by the name of Rockets, but I'll get back to that later. Smarties in Canada are essentially our take on M&Ms. They're sugar-coated chocolate candies, but they're slightly wider across and thinner than M&Ms, and they have a thicker sugar coating that makes them sweeter and crunchier than M&Ms. They are a Canadian classic, and I can guarantee that there are at least 10 Smartie packets in every kid's Halloween candy after they're done trick-or-treating. The popularity is warranted, however, because Smarties are quite delicious. Because of this, I'm going to rate them an 8 out of 10 on the Taylor candy scale. Remember when I mentioned those candies called Rockets earlier? Every kid who grew up in Canada has eaten so many Rockets in their lifetime, with their popularity being even greater than that of Smarties. Like I said before, they're chalky, disc-like candies that come wrapped in a nice stack, with every color being a different, slightly sour flavor. They're, again, a Canadian classic, and I think that you have to try them at least once in your life. With that being said, I would rate Rockets a 6 out of 10 on the Taylor candy scale. Coffee Crisps, my mom's personal favorite, are a crunchy, coffee-flavored wafer covered in delicious chocolate. The coffee taste is barely there, but still present enough to make Coffee Crisps a fitting name, meaning that even as a little girl who hated the taste of coffee, I could still enjoy the candy that my mom still loves to this day. Caramilks, on the other hand, were what my dad was hoping to find in my candy bag. Caramilks, on the other hand, were what my dad was hoping to find in my bag of Halloween candy. Despite Cadbury, the creator of Caramilks, being a British company, Caramilks are exclusively Canadian, with Caramilk candies being produced in one single factory in Toronto. I mean, you have to appreciate Caramilks a little bit more after learning that. The idea of a Caramilk is simple but delicious. It's a bar of milk chocolate with a gooey bubble of caramel on the inside, like a golden surprise when you bite down. It's no wonder they're my dad's favorite. Overall, I can hardly blame my mom and dad for taking a little bit of candy for themselves. Coffee Crisps and Caramilks are two of my personal favorites, but I don't think the preference is genetic. They're just that good. I would rate both Coffee Crisps and Caramilks an 8.5 out of 10 on my Taylor candy scale. While we're on the topic of Cadbury, let's take a look at another one of their delicious Canadian candy creations, Crispy Crunch. Crispy Crunches are delicious chocolate bars with a flaky, peanut butter-based center that is both, you guessed it, crispy and crunchy. It's the perfect blend of flavors, and their sweetness has always appealed to my sweet tooth, meaning they have always ranked very high on my list of favorite candies. I was always a little extra excited to see a few of these in my Halloween candy bag, so I think the most fitting rating for a Crispy Crunch is 9 out of 10 on the Taylor Candy Scale. Now, in case you haven't noticed, I'm a big fan of Halloween candy, and while I don't like picking favorites, I couldn't help but save the best for last. My personal favorite Halloween candy is the Aerobar, and for good reason. It's a milk chocolate candy bar with air bubbles infused into the inside of the bar, making the chocolate melt when you eat it. They're satisfying to eat both because of their delicious taste and the satisfying experience. The bubbly. They're satisfying to eat both because of the delicious taste and the bubbly experience. They were always the first to go when I went through my Halloween candy, meaning there is only one rating that I think fits the Aerobar. I rate the Aerobar a 10 out of 10 on the Taylor Candy Scale. Well, I have to go finish assembling this year's Halloween costume. Once again, my name is Taylor, and thank you so much for supporting Canada International Student Magazine. Don't forget to like and follow us on our socials, and check out our website for more international student updates. Until next time, and happy trick-or-treating. While we're on the topic of Cadbury, let's take a look at another one of their Canadian crispy, crunchy, Smarties in Canada are essentially our take on M&Ms. They're... I hope I didn't change anything. Next up, we have a fan favorite, Smarties. Smarties in Canada are essentially our take on M&Ms. Because of this, I'm going to rate... Now, in case you haven't noticed yet, I don't know what I'm saying, so let me try again.